Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Proceeding Onward in America, POA. This is an episode, I believe episode number 6, where we're talking about what to expect while RVing. As most people know, I am expecting a little one, and actually, the funny thing is, we just hit the 6-month mark now. So we have a couple more months to go, and things are going well. We actually found out that we're going to do a live stream on July 5th. The time probably be around 7 p.m., but I will update you if anything changes. But we're going to do a virtual baby shower live stream. So if you are interested in joining that, write it down in your calendars. Stay tuned for more updates about it and so forth. If you're interested in buying a baby shower gift, the link is down below. We actually do Amazon, Walmart, and also Babylist. So feel free to check that out if you like. And if you don't want to or you cannot afford anything, that's fine too. One thing that you can do for free is run our playlist and run some of our videos. Watch the ones that you enjoy. Don't feel like you have to watch every little thing. I know there's some stuff that we post that doesn't really hit everybody's like cup of joe, what they want to watch. But feel free to check out our playlist. We have years worth. We've been RVing full time since 2018, so we have a lot of knowledge. We work camp at different campgrounds, and we've done the sugar beet harvest. So if you're interested in work camping jobs, they're there. If you're wondering how to do renovations inside your RV, they're there. Or if you just want to see what it's like to go travel from the East Coast to the West Coast and vice versa, they're there too. So feel free to check them all out. For tonight, though, I do want to let you know that we do have a special guest tonight. It is Why Wait. And if you have not met them yet, well, you're going to have a chance to tonight. And I also have a link down below in the description on how to find their channel. And when they're here, they'll tell you how to find them on other methods too, on social media. So in case if you don't want to just watch YouTube all the time, we would like you to, but there's other ways to keep in touch with them as well. So I just want to make sure I don't forget anything. So while everybody is starting to pop in, I'm just going to go through here. I want to talk about last week's episode. We actually had a special guest last week. Natasha from Nursing Our Travel Bug came on and talked about a lot of her travel nursing and some of the stuff that they had to change from when they went from sticks and bricks to full-time RVing with 2 children. They are about the ages of 7 and up. They've been traveling for 4 years, so now Bella is actually now a teenager. So she had a lot of wealth of knowledge. So if you're interested in knowing what it's like to go through the ages and going from middle school or elementary type of teaching to middle school type of work, she has a lot of homeschooling advice as well as health insurance because she's a travel nurse. So if you want to check that one out, feel free to go back and check that. And this week we have Why Wait, and then later on I'm going to let you know who we have for next week. So stay tuned to hear who that is. While you are here, make sure that you hit that thumbs up and share this out so that way other people can see that we are doing a live stream tonight and also get to meet Why Wait as well. And if you're new here, please hit that subscribe button right on down there. All right, so I'm going to say hello to a couple people in the chat that have popped in as we go on. I'm sure some others will join us as well. I know it's Saturday night and it's hot, so a lot of people are swimming. We were swimming. Why Wait was swimming. Everybody was swimming today. So feel free if you weren't watching this on a rerun, or not rerun, I guess we're not that old yet. But if you were watching this after it's been live, feel free to make a comment down below and so forth, and check out Why Wait. So first of all, I want to say hello to John Chalker. Thank you for joining us. He's asking how I am feeling, and I'm feeling great today. My feet have been getting more swollen, so I got a pregnancy pillow from my family, from Matt, and I've been able to sleep with that. So my hips are starting to feel better, and I'm using that to prop my legs up and so forth, so my feet are not swelling as much. So the joys of pregnancy. But everything else is going great. We actually had an ultrasound yesterday. I don't have the photos uploaded, so I will have to show them another time. But we definitely have some photos of baby Junior that came up. And I also want to say hello to Lori Manser. Hello. Hi, Mom. Thanks for joining us. And if anybody else pops in, I will introduce them in. And if you have any questions, please type it in the chat and we will ask Chris and Megan from Why Wait those questions. Or if they're anything about me, feel free to put my name. Last week we had a little confusion. They were asking a question for Natasha, or actually for me, but I thought it was for Natasha, and it didn't work well. So make sure that you type in who the question's for, so that way we know who to address it to. All right, so I did all that stuff, talked about everything coming up, and let's get rocking and rolling and let you guys meet Chris and Megan. So give me 1 second while I do this. Hello.
Hey, we love that. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, I had so much fun making it. I tried to make it really nautical like.
We noticed that right away. I was like, oh, all the water scenes, that's so cool.
Makes sense.
Yes, indeed. And we'll get to that because some people don't know what you do for a living and so forth. So that way it makes sense to them why we did what we did. But at the end of this, I will send you a message with that. So if you want to use it or show it to anyone, feel free to use that trailer.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah,
We like it.
Yeah, that's my thank you for joining me tonight and so forth. If I ruin your analytics a little bit on your YouTube, I'm sorry. But anyways, let's get right to it. Let's talk a little bit about who you are, what you guys do, and so forth, like the jobs and so forth. So go ahead and tell everybody a little bit about you.
Okay. Our channel is called Why Wait, and we basically came up with that name because we decided why wait until we are retired to start full-time RVing. As we kind of preluded to earlier, I'm a mariner. I work on tugboats, and I've been doing that for about 14 years. And I do 2 weeks on the tugboat, then I'm off for 2 weeks. And I've always been doing that lifestyle. And I've never lived in New York. I've always had to travel to work anyways from places that we've lived. So we talked about it, and we said instead of waiting until, you know, I'm 65 or whatever and I'm retired to do the full-time RV, and we said we can do this lifestyle now. My job allows us to live this lifestyle in any place we're at, as long as we're within a few hours of an airport. I can fly back to work.
Or drive.
Yep. I go back to work for 2 weeks, and then I go back to wherever the camper is parked at for 2 weeks.
Which is amazing. And what about you, Megan?
Well, I stay home now. I stay home with our youngest. Before that, I was in hospitality for years and managed like hotels and stuff like that for quite a few years. So
2 older boys.
Yep.
Grown up and gone in the military, and now we just travel with the little guy. He's 6 years old, and we travel with him and took up homeschooling for the first time.
Yes.
And how is that going?
It's not bad for now.
Kindergarten and first grade is pretty easy to teach.
We can handle that. I'm not sure as he gets older if we're going to be able to handle it. Hope so. But he's going to outsmart us, I think, eventually.
Yeah,
so.
Once he gets into third grade, he may be past my math level, so it could be interesting to see how it goes.
Third grade. That's funny. That is funny. Actually, well, the great thing is, I know COVID was not a great experience for everybody, but I think because of the change that we had to do for all the schoolings, probably by the time that Corbin gets up to that age, there may be more of a virtual aspect where he can still be like that. So you don't have to worry about that. I mean, he's hitting for kindergarten, first grade. You have another 3 years for you, give or take.
It's funny.
I mean, we were thinking about homeschooling before we started full-time RVing.
Yeah.
Just for us, the way that the schools were kind of
in the school system
shifting in a way that we were not kind of jiving with, I guess. So we were tossing that around, and then we're like, well, it's going to be perfect if we're RVing. So we'll just homeschool him.
And right now we're not following any kind of like set curriculum. We don't have like an online
Texas
program that we use.
Home. So,
yeah, Texas is our state of domicile, and Texas is the one state that doesn't require any homeschool laws whatsoever. There's no periodical testing in person or online or otherwise. If you're from Texas, you can pretty much homeschool however you want, or don't even school if you don't want to.
We're not okay with that.
We still want a good education for him, but it's up to you how you do it. And so far, because he is just kindergarten and first grade is what we've been doing, we've just been using workbooks and things like that.
But we've taught him to read and and he's great at math already. He's
accelerated
far ahead of where he would be if he was in, traditional public school.
Way further ahead. That one-on-one time we get with him, and it doesn't take a lot. I mean, maybe an hour a day, hour and a half a day, if he's in a good mood and he buckles down. We get so much done that it's just, we kind of fly through it and we just keep progressing, so.
Which is really good. So for the homeschooling, there's so many different courses that you can take, I believe. Like some people like to be more Christian based, some like to be other type of based. Which one have you seen fit for you?
We haven't chosen a particular curriculum. We don't need to yet.
Yeah, it's just been kind of like purchasing a lot of like scholastic reading books, science book, math books for whatever grade level he's in and actually beyond. And we've just been kind of going through those.
We have been lucky enough because we winter in Texas typically. And as soon as we started our first week in Texas, wintering in Texas, we ran into someone who was in a homeschool group there, right in our little town, and they had meetings every week. And so we got in with them really quick, and that's been wonderful because you've got a whole group of homeschool
kids.
Everybody does it different.
They all meet up at the park on Friday, so he gets to have that interaction with other kids.
But I've been able to really ask them questions like, okay, I'm lost. What do I use? And they're like, oh, try this, try this, try this. And we found that when it does come time to kind of maybe decide on a curriculum
program,
you can, mix a couple of them. And so that's probably what we're going to end up doing because we have to find what works for him.
Yep.
So that he doesn't absolutely hate, and we don't have to butt heads with him every single time we're trying to, we want to find what works for him and, has a good fit.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Cause he's so young. He's 6, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. So it's young at that, or he's young at that age of wanting to just bounce around, do a whole bunch of things. Him sitting at a desk and doing everything else is just not,
Yeah, the attention span, anything past an hour, that's pretty good for a 6-year-old.
Some days that's pushing it. Some days I'm like, I don't have the patience today. So sometimes we're like, we'll wait a little while, or and so we have that flexibility though, so it works.
That's really good. And now, how has he liked that change? Because you guys have two older sons. I'm assuming that you started full-time RVing after they graduated and went off to do the military.
Yeah. We've only been full-time for over 2 years now.
Yep.
But our older kids were 8. Okay, now I gotta think here.
18.
They're 24 and 20
now.
And so they were both, doing their thing or whatever. They had graduated high school, of course, and everything. And the one he went on to college, and he's already graduated. So they were off on their journey. They're military. They get to go and travel. And
Corbin, all he knows, he did a preschool when we were still in Kentucky Station before we started full timing. So that's all he really knows is this homeschooling, and he seems to have taken it up just fine. But he doesn't have that real schooling experience to compare it to. Like when there's days and he doesn't want to do his lessons, I'm like, you can wake up at 6 a.m, go stand by the bus stop if you need to, and go to school for 8 hours a day and raise your hand before you can speak and sit still in the desk and bullies and tests and deadlines. I was like, if you need experience with, how good you really have it, he doesn't know any different.
That's very true. I never really thought about that in all reality. We always just thought of, hey, if we're going to be learning something, we can just pick up the RV and head towards that direction, give or take. And let's explore that area, and we can do the knowledge base there and so forth, which I've seen you guys do a couple of those experiences.
Every time we go anywhere, we try to make it into a learning experience, whether it's a national park or just anything throughout the day. We really try to make it a learning experience for him, an actual hands-on, physical talk about the area or the history or just whatever it may involve. Have
you found anything that he really is liking a lot? You said he's doing really good in math and all that. But
he's really good at math, and
he really likes it.
But he also asks us tons of history questions, and that probably comes from me. I'm a big history buff. I love that kind of stuff, so I'm always watching shows on World War II on the History Channel and those kind of things. So
and Corbin watches them.
He'll sit down and watch them with me. He'll want to ask about it, and he wants to watch them sometimes instead of just cartoons. And so we encourage that, and I love it. And when he wants to ask questions, we go off on a whole hour discussion. Sometimes I said he probably knows more about World War II than any other 6-year-old.
I don't even think I knew about World War II when I was 6.
He'll ask. He gets fascinated by it. He just asks question after question. So,
which is really cool.
Yeah.
Oh, I just want to say hello to Nomadic Drifter real quick as they popped in and so forth. Just dropping by for a minute. They're on the road transiting through. I believe they're back in the Kentucky area right now, or they just left the Kentucky area. So he's home base actually out of Kentucky too. So,
yeah. Lots of Kentucky going on.
That's right.
Yeah. Except for John. John's from Connecticut. So, all right. So, what about all the stuff and everything? How you meant, I know more about you. You guys had 2 houses and so forth like that. How are you handling getting rid of all that stuff, especially with a child? What do you need to bring?
It was really easy for us.
Yeah.
Because what happened was we had 2 houses.
Short version.
We rented both of them out. We left our houses to go move with our parents to help them sell their house. So we decided to rent our house out, live with our parents, fix up their house, and put it on the market. So we ended up living with our parents, and we ended up liking the area, so we stayed with them longer than we anticipated. Mm-hmm. So we had already put everything in storage, and we were just staying with our parents. So when we launched full-time, all we had to do was move into the camper because everything, all the big stuff was already in a storage unit or sold.
So some of it's there.
Not much. It was very simple. We had a bedroom full of stuff that we just basically left with our parents' house. So for us, the transition to move into the camper was really easy.
Good.
Yeah.
It worked out somehow. Everything fell into place. And
yeah, it was great.
Yeah, I think I still have half my stuff in my mom's basement in Kentucky. So, it happens.
I told my parents, I'm like, hey, use it or, toss it out if you want to. I'm
we don't need it anymore. Even the storage unit we have, we're like, oh gosh, we need to go to the storage unit and just get rid of it and just
Yes.
sell it. It's we're just spending money on a storage unit of stuff we never need again.
Yeah, more than
Yeah.
likely.
Yeah.
More than likely.
We don't even know what's in there. I don't think.
Right? I don't even know what half the stuff is anymore. I'm like, do I really need it? And then, not gonna lie, so before Fabian and I got married, we went to my mom's basement, and I was pulling stuff out that I bought for a wedding, because every girl dreams about her wedding, right? I bought them in my early 20s. I'm like in my mid 30s now. And I was like, oh yeah, I bought this for the wedding. Let's use it for the wedding. Yeah. So
And you're like, do I even want to use this anymore? You know, this isn't my style anymore. What was I thinking? And
so we used it because it was just like 2 chair covers and like the cutting the cake set. So it wasn't anything too bad. Thank God. Okay. It was okay. And if we lost it, it wasn't the end of the world. So
yeah.
Actually, I have a couple more people that actually came in. I'm not sure if you know of all these, but we have Diary of a Family. Huh? Yeah. They're in Colorado right now, so that's not too far from where you guys are at, give or take. Depending
not too bad.
Depending on what part of Colorado. We know Colorado's huge.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And then we also have Nursing Our Travel Bug, who is They're here, and they're up in Colorado right now too. So here we go.
Colorado's on our list.
Yeah, we haven't get there yet.
Yes.
If you have any questions, let us know, because we went through there last year, and we have some friends like Nurse Air Travel Bug. You can reach out to them too. Nomadic Drifter is almost back in Kentucky from Florida, so he's heading on his way back. We have John Chalker that says, you guys are cool. So he likes you guys. Look at that. Hey, John, down the link is down in the description is a link to their channel. Feel free to check them out and subscribe.
It's bigger in Texas.
Yeah, hamburger steaks.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that.
No.
Nope, not at all. And we also have Thrifty Angela in the house. Hello, hello, hello.
Oh yeah, hey. Yep. Yep, definitely know her.
Yep. And it skipped for a moment. I'm sorry. And then everyone's saying hello to everybody. And I think, okay, perfect. So anybody that just joined us, if you have any questions whatsoever, please place it in the chat. And they will answer your questions. So feel free to type that in as we're discussing a little bit more and everything. And all right. So you mentioned before that when you guys go back to Texas and all that, you guys have like some friends and all that you guys can meet up with. Has there been any other locations or anything that you guys met friends with, or how's that going?
Well, I mean, it seems that's one thing we love about the lifestyle is we meet friends everywhere we go, and it's so cool. We have more friends now that we're on the road than we ever did before, and that seems to be a common thread you hear most people say when they start full-time RVing. One area we really like is the Blue Ridge Mountains, or Blue Ridge, Georgia.
North Georgia.
We're probably going to go back there real soon again. My parents have a cabin in the mountains there. We have friends there. It's just a beautiful area, and we really like that part of the country.
I think that will eventually be home.
Yeah. Eventually be home.
Then we're not going to stop traveling, but I think that will end
place to
eventually.
Park the home for long term, maybe. Yeah.
We love it. We've been going there for years. When we lived in Savannah, we would just go up there for long weekends, and we kind of started going. We wanted to go a little bit more, a little longer, and so then we told some of our friends, and so now his parents bought a home there. And some of our best friends, they're buying a home there.
Some friends we met camping there or still stay up there. And they bought a piece of land there to put their camper on.
So yeah. We made like we've kind of got all of our friends to move there. Now we can go move there. And, we already know people.
That works out great.
Then we go back to Texas in the wintertime, and we meet all of our friends who kind of come back to the same resort down there in the wintertime. And Corbin has his friends from that homeschool group.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of neat too.
That is really cool. Now, is there any certain activities they like to do together that, I know some kids when they're younger, they like to do soccer or do whatever. Is there any certain stuff that you guys do to entertain?
Right now, well, when we're in Texas and when we're around the homeschool group, we always go on field trips. and those kind of activities. And
as far as
there's
sports
so much
go, because obviously moving,
you know,
teams and things like that, we kind of wanted to get him into karate, and he did a little bit of that. And what's cool about karate is it's obviously a single-person sport, but as you travel, you can always kind of enroll him in a new karate, dojo or whatever. So it kind of carries over. It's kind of an easy sport for him to travel.
He can really do that anywhere.
Yeah.
If he wants to do something, he can do that from anywhere and doesn't have to.
And he enjoyed it. Yeah.
Yeah. So we're kind of gonna talk about that maybe a little bit more when we.
And then
a little bit later.
If we get anywhere where, because we do travel slower, we do like to spend 5-6 months at a time at a place. We really enjoy spending a season somewhere, slowing down, meeting the people, finding all the small little restaurants and the little places to go, and not just hit the big attractions and keep moving. So because we do travel slower, and if we do 5-6 months somewhere, we can get them into like a YMCA where we can do soccer and things like that. So.
I think the karate thing's cool. I did Taekwondo when I was younger. I made it up to yellow belt. So
nice.
I'm all for that.
Cool.
Awesome. Yeah, the older kids did that. So, I think, and they really enjoyed it. I can't remember what belt they got up to, but they enjoyed it. And then Corbett's tried it. And before we started full-timing, he did a couple little sports and things like that. But it was more like just a bunch, like a organized chaos out there at that age. So
at that age, they're just kind of like running around like crazy.
Yes.
And they're picking their nose probably at the same time.
Absolutely, playing in the dirt.
Yeah.
So
it's actually funner to watch than a real baseball
game.
Just watch it.
Definitely more entertaining.
Definitely. As if you're those serious parents and you're just like yelling at them thinking they're going to be NBA pros or whatever in like 2 months.
Oh
yeah, those. So we have some people that are really fans of you. They're D'Angela. You guys are awesome.
Thank you.
We don't know we're awesome. It's just us.
But that's the great thing about it is that you can be yourself and all these people love you, and that's what matters,
We don't know how to be anything else, so this is what you get.
Yeah, essentially.
Yep.
Essentially. The only thing that's different probably for me is when I had to deal with military stuff, which your older sons understand that you have to be a little bit different in the military than you can be in person.
Yeah.
Seen that.
But they're learning some things in the military life. So everybody in my family's been in the military, but now that my kids, they're like, wow, we have to be grown-ups and like, do I don't know. It's been an experience instead of like the army or the military being like some soldiers in battle and all that stuff. They're like, you actually have to like work and like sit behind a desk sometimes. It's not out there doing playing in the woods and stuff. So.
Nope, it's not always what you see. So, I'm in the Navy, so I get to do ship life.
Yep.
But I'm now sitting at a desk, so I totally get it. I guess my mom wanted to share this fun little story of me when I was younger. I used to sit in the field picking flowers.
Oh.
We had a kid like that on one of my little league baseball teams. He'd always be out in the outfield, just sitting down Indian style, like looking at butterflies and stuff, and it would drive us nuts. Like,
yep. Well, it's all good. It's all. There's nothing wrong with it.
That's funny.
If anybody else has any more questions, and Mom, you don't need to embarrass me anymore.
That's what we want. We want the dirt.
Yeah. Good stuff.
But the good thing is, Nomadic Drifter, he also found that the RV community is always welcoming as you are. Nobody really judges you. So that's right along the line.
It's definitely a tight community. And when I'm sometimes gone for 2 weeks, back out at work, everyone always comes together and offers to help her out if she needs anything, and feel free to knock on the door. And it's a lot of times when we leave somewhere, I always feel you know, like I left her in a good place. I feel pretty confident usually, because we don't do like boondocking. I'm not going to leave her out in the desert for 2 weeks while I go back to work or nothing like that. So we're usually in a pretty good RV park community, and we usually have some really nice friends and people. So even when I do leave, if we have a problem she can't handle or something, everyone's always been great.
I can always handle everything so far. We're good. The important stuff.
Except for when I get phone calls like 11 o'clock at night, about this is broken or that's not working or something.
Well, we got to keep the honey-do list for you when you come back and everything. Something sounds different. You'd be like, hey, honey, we got this going on.
Always. It's a long list every time we come home. Yep. That's okay. I like to stay busy.
I'm not the one making the list, though.
Yeah, it's usually me. Yep.
He's making his list from the boat. I'm like, how do you know that needs to be done? What are you doing? But yeah, there's always something to be done.
Oh, absolutely. And when you're working on a boat and there's, you're just going up and down or waiting for a job to come up because you work on tugboats, you have time to think about things.
A lot of time on your hands. And so nowadays it's kind of what's the next video going to be that we're going to do is usually what I'm thinking about now. Or
yeah,
absolutely.
Or
yeah, we're a little behind on ours, so we're good. We're like a year behind on our videos almost.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, I wish I could be that caught up. That's great. Yeah.
So we got content. We're good.
They got some. You better get on it. No.
And that's the thing. I come home and I'm home for 2 weeks. So sometimes it's like, we try to put out one video every week. Mm-hmm. So it's like, okay, I got to film at least 4 videos while I'm home, 2 to put out while I'm home. Then, because when I go back to work, I have to make sure I have something to put out while I'm at work. And we're starting to get a little bit ahead now and caught up to where I have a little bit of a backup, and I'm not always like so pressured to get like a new video out or film enough so I can go back to work and still have something to post. And
yeah, I understand that completely. Now, how does Corbin and all that enjoy the social media life and YouTube? And does he like to participate, or just one of those
He does. He's a little ham. If he gets a chance to get in front of that camera, sometimes you have to tell him, okay, all right, buddy, like, hold on, And he likes to get in front of the camera.
He would be telling every bit of our business if we went on there. Or let him just you go ahead and say what you want. You don't know what might come out of his mouth. We had to be like, no.
He wanted to do.
I'm like, don't put that in the video. Don't put that in the video.
He was making some kind of Legos, and he wanted to show the camera and do his own little video. And he picked it up, like he just was like, "Hey, everybody, welcome back to my channel." And he was just like, "Let me tell." He was just like a little YouTuber. It was so funny. Like,
he might have to have his own channel soon. I don't know.
Definitely.
Ooh. He could. I know RV Kids TV, their little daughters and all that, they do their own little channel. So
yeah, I know you're talking about. Yep.
I think it's great. Gives them something to, just, something else to look forward to and stuff like that. Because they get bored. And, it's like, if we could tell them, let's go make a video then, that'd be nice.
Yeah. Well,
he just does great with it. So yeah, he knows. There's times where we have to tell him, okay, we're filming. You gotta be quiet. But if you want to ask a question, that's okay. And this and that. And he does great. And he kind of likes to peek and look at the little camera and kind of smile. And
he might pop in here in a minute because they're coming back from the pool soon. So
yeah,
if he pops in, then I don't know what's gonna happen. So I'll warn you now.
Hey, that's real life. That's what it's like to live with kids.
And we always kind of wondered what's going to happen when he gets older too. Is he going to get more curious about school and that wanting to kind of go to school and settle down, or is he just going to keep wanting to run with the RV life like we are now? So, and we'll always do what's best for him and just kind of change whatever we need to if we have to. But so far he's loving the RV life. He loves his little bedroom that he has, and going to the national parks and the junior ranger programs, and he has new friends every weekend. A lot of people were like, "Oh, how's he gonna interact with kids and homeschool? How's he gonna meet kids?" And I'm like, "Have you ever been camping before?" I was like, he has more kids now and friends.
Yeah, than when we were like in Kentucky.
Yeah.
You live out in the country. No, there's no kids next door.
Yeah.
You know, so they're like a mile away. Nobody's coming over. But
So
here,
it's great for him.
you just send them outside, and there's kids
coming
everywhere.
and going, and there's also a lot of kids who are here for a long time, like we are too. So he makes a little bit of long-term friends and those, daily weekend friends too.
Which is really good. You actually mentioned your RV. Feel free to share what type of RV you have and how it works for you and with your family and so forth.
It was something we specifically sought out, this brand and this floor plan. It's a Grand Design. It's a 2018 Grand Design Solitude 377 MBS, which is the mid bunk, and that was important for us for him to have his own bedroom, because we had looked at some other floor plans that we liked better, but we weren't about to make a bed up every night and pull the couch out. We thought it was important for him to have his own space, his own bedroom where he can keep his toys and be comfortable. And we got lucky, and we actually found this. It was a few months used. It was the perfect floor plan, the model, everything we wanted. It had some extra features like a washer and dryer and satellite, and so we jumped all over it when we finally found it. We probably shopped around for about a year, and
to find out what we liked and didn't like about all the brands and everything.
And I think that's important to really kind of figure out, try to get a feel for what meets. Everybody's different, their criteria, so really try to pick out something that's going to work best for you and your family.
I said, as long as, because I had a little hobby and I would go and do stuff with I would do craft shows and stuff with my mom.
She makes wreaths and offer.
And it's just for, hobby. And I was like, I want to be able to take my hobby on the road. So whatever camper we get, I need some storage.
And you can see one of our videos for anybody who follows our channel. We have a video where we take you on a tour of our camper, and we will show you every single cabinet and ottoman and storage is basically dedicated to crafting and wreaths. I got the basement, and everything else is, we have a whole loft area above the mid bunk, and it's pretty much storage for crafting.
Well, maybe she can sell it. There's Etsy and everything.
That's what I do.
She has Etsy. She has an Etsy store, and she sells her wreaths on there. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's it's got I got a lot. I could pare down. I could. I don't want him to know that.
No, but we
too
do
late
good.
now.
Yeah,
but
we do good. We keep the
I
weight
can pare down a little
and...
bit. I could. So I'm probably gonna have
to. It's all good. I do see another question in the chat. I want to say hello to a couple people that have joined us real quick. We have Michael and Bella's Travel Channel, new subscriber and new to the live streams. Yay! Thank you for joining us. And if you'd like to know why wait, I have their link down in the description. Feel free to check them out as well. And I also want to say hello to It's About Time Now. Hello. Thanks for joining us tonight. Enjoy that. And now I'm going to scroll up to that question from Nursing Our
We're new to all this stuff, so we think this is all neat.
Yeah, no problem. And that It's About Time Now is Brad and Diana. I always want to say Diane, because I don't think it's Diane. It's Diane. I get the two mixed up. But it happens. I'm sorry. I love you guys, and I met them too. But on Nursing Our Travel Bug, they have a question. I think it's supposed to say Chris instead of Christ.
Oh, yeah.
Do you always work from the NE? I'm not sure.
The Northeast.
Northeast, maybe.
Okay, I was thinking New York, but yeah, that works too. It's the same thing. Or do you report to other ports?
I am lucky enough. My company, we have it's the largest tug company in the whole East Coast and the Gulf, and we have tugboats in my company that go up and down the whole coast, and they never know. The crew never knows what city they got a crew change in, and they got to call up, say, "Hey, where's the tug at? Where are you flying me to?" Luckily, the tugboat that I'm on is specialized in ship work, so we bring all the big ship containers and tankers into the New York Harbor and sail them again. So I always stay up in the New York port, New York City, which is great because that way I have a set schedule. I know my tugboat is always going to be in New York every Wednesday, because if not, I could end up in Baltimore or Puerto Rico or who knows where. And depending on weather, those guys on those tugboats, they have to go back to work early, and sometimes they get stuck on the tugboat 2 or 3 days when they're supposed to get off. And I wouldn't like that. So I'm glad that I always know when I'm coming and going every Wednesday.
We like that too.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I understand that completely, because even when I go away for months on end, beforehand, right? The weather can change because I was deep sea. And with the weather changing, you could go into port late. And I usually was over in like Japan and stuff like that. And then once you get in late, then you never know when you're going to make it back over to the other side. And it's chaotic. I totally understand. I'd rather like the 2 weeks.
That's great. Having a set schedule.
And you don't have to worry about flights sometimes. Say, if, you know, New York gets shut down because of a snowstorm. You can always rent a car and just be like, peace out.
Yeah, I'll find a way home. That's for sure.
Yeah, well, usually when we've been, I'll say in the wintertime, well,
for the most part,
we've been lucky.
Yeah, I think I've only missed work due to weather like once from a flight getting canceled or I ended up late or something. Actually, it was in Texas of all places when that crazy snowstorm hit Texas.
Oh yeah.
That I couldn't make it back to work for like 5 days, and the guy who I'm supposed to relieve, he got stuck on the boat for 5 days because I couldn't make it back up there to relieve him due to that Texas snowstorm of all things on the coast of Texas.
Yeah. Yeah, the weird thing is I had the same problem back, oh gosh, probably like 2011. I had a choice when I was leaving Japan to either go through Chicago, and this is February, right? You go through Chicago or go through Texas. I was like, I'm going to go to Dallas, Texas, right?
Yeah.
Chicago is going to snow. I'm not going to go there. Chicago, perfect. And Dallas completely shut down. And I was like, how?
Or even if Chicago had the snowstorm, they're probably better equipped to handle it.
Yeah.
Airport could have done better than if, like you said, you get snow in Corpus Christi or Dallas, and then it's like, okay, just close the airport. We can't handle it. Yeah.
Yeah, it was just so weird. That's when I learned about snow in Texas.
Yeah.
Well, we just learned about it.
Yeah.
You're like, really? It was madness because nobody knew how to handle it. So, well, not where we were at.
The only thing I don't like about my job is the travel days and the weather up in New York in the wintertime. But the good thing is when I get off the boat, I'm like, okay, bye. I'm going to Nevada or Florida or Texas and going to go, enjoy the 80 degrees while you guys are still, in snow. So.
Which is good. Actually, I think John Chalker has a question. I know you guys work on a boat and stuff, but how do you know all this stuff? Because it must make you very busy. So I'm assuming he's talking about RVing stuff because working on boats and then now you're RVing. That's what I'm guessing what he's talking about. So how did you learn to RV and like, did you watch
YouTube?
There's a few. Well, what's funny is my parents actually full-time RV'd for about 10 years. When me and my sister were 18 and we moved out, they sold everything. They bought a houseboat, a fifth-wheel camper, a jet boat, and a golf cart. And they moved out to a lake, and they full-time, and we'd go visit them all the time, and we absolutely loved it. And I think they would still be doing it. And this was back in like 1998 to like maybe 2008. But then my grandmother got Alzheimer's, and they had to take care of her, so they kind of had to sell everything in that lifestyle, buy a house again, and take care of her. But I learned a little bit from just seeing them full-time RVing for so long, and then, watching other people's YouTube channels. And I'm a big researcher. Anytime I have a problem, I try to fix it myself, and I'll just research the heck out of it online and try to figure out how to do it myself before I have to call somebody.
So, Megan, did he have to convince you a lot for RVing, or was it kind of like, okay, let's do it?
He probably had to work on me a little bit.
We were driving around one day talking.
Well, I was, here I'm like camping, like, all I can think of is like going to the bathroom in the woods and like living in a tent.
Yeah. She didn't camp a lot.
I'm like, no.
And I grew up camping all the time. My family tent camped all the time.
And then he's like, no, like in an RV, we could do it in a camper. And I'm like,
and we were kind of talking about when we retired one day, and then
I needed him to lay everything out and say this is how this is going to be, and this, and kind of like how this would
we started talking about it because on my 2 weeks when I was home, because we both have military families, her family and my family are both spread across this country, as well as friends of ours. Mm-hmm. And when I would come home for 2 weeks, we would always be like on like vacation, traveling and meeting these. We
traveled a lot.
We traveled a lot just to do stuff all the time when we took 2 weeks home. And sometimes I'd be like, man, I never get to sleep in my own bed. I come home from the boat and I'd have one day in my own bed, and then we'd be on the road just traveling in our cars to go visit people. And I said, it'd be nice to take my bed with me, take my toilet with me. And I said, wouldn't that be cool to like So we kind of said, yeah, if I have a camper, I can bring my own bathroom and bed with me. We can go visit our friends, and that's how we kind of.
And also something that kind of really really did it for me is for years. My dad was Army for 27 years or whatever, and as long as I can remember, they had talked about when we retire, we're going to travel. We're going to travel. We're going to go where we want. We're going to do what we want to do. And
they never did it.
They never did it, and they waited.
So why wait?
And they waited. And they waited.
Life's too short if you don't just kind of do it sometimes.
And now
we said, hey, if we don't like it, we can move back into a house. Let's give it a shot.
Yeah, what's the worst that's going to happen? We hate it. And then, okay, if we go back, we had a home. We still have a home that we want to. We can move back in. But now we're like, nope, we're selling that. We have the home in Savannah. We're selling it, and we're just going to play it by ear. So
there you go. And like what Nursing Our Travel Book said, it sounds like you got plenty of places to mooch dock.
Exactly. That's right. You know what though? Everybody's got a crummy driveway. They're all like up in the mountains where I can't get my camper. Like we've mooch docked like once at my uncle's in Florida because they had a huge property and a big space. Everybody else has like these back roads and up a gravel. I'm like, I can't get my camper up there. Like
that's because our camper's too big.
I know.
Well, our camper, we upgraded from our 19-footer. I don't know if you guys heard or not. So even though our video show our 19-footer, we upgraded to a 43-footer. So we understand now.
Well, you have to have room for the baby.
Yeah, you gotta have space.
But it's a big difference. That's like double the difference,
We just dove right in. I kind of knew if we were living in it, we'd want the space.
I was so scared. I'm like, no, let's get something smaller.
And I was like, I don't want to have to like upgrade, because 2 months down the road, we knew it's not enough space. So we just kind of jumped right into this. So
yeah, I still am like, this thing is, when you see one of the, like being pulled down the road, it's still, I'm like, that's huge. Yeah. I mean, it just, not just ours, but when I see anybody, I'm like, it's huge.
If we can tow a 1,300-foot ship, we can tow a 40-foot camper.
There you go. Exactly. Well, we started out small because Fabi and I just met before we started doing any of this. We weren't even dating for like 6 months. We were like, hey, let's live in an RV together.
Why not?
Let's go. So like babies and all that weren't a thought. So we that's why we went small, and then eventually we progressed and so forth.
And as we get older, we may go the other way. We may, I think, maybe go.
I don't know how we would go bigger.
No, yeah.
I don't know how that would work. But yeah, we've got our, we still like to go look at RVs and campers or whatever. We still, because you upgrade or you change it after a few years, and so we're always like, okay, well, this one will work after Corbin's, older, or we might want to change to a toy hauler, or just there's always things we're always like thinking and dreaming and
what's next.
Yeah. Yep. What's next? We don't know.
Yeah, I looked at Fabian after he bought this one. He was still looking at RVs. I'm like, honey, we haven't even had this for a week, and you're looking at more RVs. He's like, well, you never know.
Why not?
It's fun.
Yeah.
So we almost have 10 minutes left in the chat. So I want to say hi to a couple more people that have come into the chat, as well as let everybody know that's in the chat to start typing your questions now that you may have for Why Wait. There is a lag between what I can read in the chat and what can actually be said at the same time. So I want you guys to get your questions in beforehand because I don't want them to come later and we're all done. So go ahead, type them in, and I want to say hello to KT Spirit 1. Thanks for coming. They have their hands full. Hopefully it's not full of bad things. Hopefully it's good things and so forth. And then I also have Doreen from Camping Therapy that's here as well. And Diane said from It's About Time Now that they understand everything because her husband, Brad, was in the Coast Guard.
Oh, cool. My dad was in the Coast Guard for like 23 years.
Yeah. My grandpa was an Army Marine. So he did the Army and the Marines and so forth. And I think that's it for everybody that's come in and so forth at this time. So if anyone has any questions, do you have anything that you would like to say to the group? Any words of encouragement or anything at all of like what it's like to live with a child and anything?
Yeah, just, don't be afraid to try it out. You're not gonna ruin your child or like ruin their life.
We hope.
Yeah, I mean, things can always be changed, and you can always do what's best for them. But I think having children in RVing it seems to be a pretty popular thing. And I think more and more families are doing it now that they can work from the road.
If you can
the
be
kids
positive,
are out there.
being positive about it, staying in a positive attitude about it, and stuff like that. It can go either way. Being military brats ourselves.
We moved.
And our parents always kept it a positive thing. And you're going to have new friends all over the world. And you're going to, and this is going to be, it's a good thing. And
there's always sad parts when you leave your friends.
Sure.
Or, our little boy, he got a little sad today because he knew he was going to be leaving one of his friends here soon. But he always knows he's going to make other friends. And we made friends every time we had to move every 3 years. And the kids are out there. So, I mean, like we mentioned earlier, he gets more friends now than I think he ever would.
It just has to be made a positive experience.
Yeah.
And, and us as the parents, we're the ones to have to keep it that way. That's our job. And we want it to be positive for him. But if it does come to, ever comes to where it's just not working for him, then we'll have to figure out a new plan.
Yeah.
So if anybody's on the fence about doing full-time or homeschooling or anything, try it. What have you got to lose?
Jump into it. Yeah. Why wait? I mean, it's been a great experience for us. Most families that we've talked to who have tried it and they were scared at first, I haven't seen too many negative. I mean, it all seems to usually be positive that people just love it and they were so happy that they've done it. So
yeah,
which is great. And I think that's one reason, like, our I'm not going to lie, our family was kind of like, you're going to have children and doing this stuff? And we're like, well, why not? Well, once they get older, they're going to miss all this other stuff and this and that. And it's like, okay, well, at that time, you can figure it out as they grow.
Evaluate.
Hey, all those kids who are, I guess if you want to call it a regular life or living at home, they're going to miss all this stuff. He goes on a vacation, he's seeing the world and all the great national parks and experiencing different parts and cultures of our country and people. And for kids who never live in their hometown their whole life, they miss all of that. So there's always the pros and cons to any lifestyle. It's how you look at it.
Yeah,
absolutely, and I agree totally. And if anything, you can always go to your Georgia spot, right up in that Smoky Mountains. Just keep the RV, and then during the summer, just go off and.
Yeah, I think we'll be camping from here on out. I mean, whether that slows down a little bit, I think we'll always be like, camping in some way.
Yeah.
So not in a tent
or
on the ground.
Yeah.
You want your own bathroom?
Sorry.
Definitely glamping.
Yeah.
No peeing in the woods.
Oh no! Oh my gosh, no. That's how when we met, we went on some camping trips, with his family. And
I proposed to her on a camping trip on a big suspension bridge.
Tallulah Gorge, and
Yeah.
Up in the, I guess it was in the North Carolina side. No, it's still Georgia.
North Georgia mountains.
Yep. So, now we have to keep camping because you proposed to me while we were camping.
That's right. It's meant to be. Who would have known even then? We were just camping. Would have never known.
Yeah. So we love it.
Which is great. Now, before the chat, we have about 5 minutes now. I'd like you to say, how can people find you and so forth, like social media and everything, and anything you want to promote?
Okay. Well, pretty much Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, it's all under Why Wait. All of our accounts are under Why Wait. You can find us there. Even on TikTok, I haven't kept up with it too much. I'm learning TikTok. I'm trying to stay hip with the kids. If you would have told me I would have been on Instagram or even TikTok a while ago, I'd have said you're crazy. But hey, I'm figuring out. I got some silly stuff on TikTok, that's where you guys can find us, just on those social media platforms. And check us out. We release new videos every Sunday, usually around 11 o'clock Eastern time. And a lot of them are how-to videos, maintenance, as well as our travels.
Which is fantastic. So thank you very much for sharing that and everything. I'm just going to say a couple of more things before we wrap it up. I want to say thank you to everybody that has come in. And KT Spirit has a parrot in her hands watching you.
Hey, that's a new one.
Yeah.
So that's awesome.
It's cool. it a camping parrot?
Full-time RVing with parrots, maybe.
Hey, that's a new one.
There you go. I think the Wandering Wags travels with a dragon, like one of those lizard dragons.
Yeah.
Oh, bearded dragon or something. I've seen people with goats,
Pigs.
pigs. Oh, I think it's cool.
Yeah.
Like, I like to hear about the different
If it's
animals.
in the camper, bring it along.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Our companions are asleep on the couch. They're not impressed by any of this. So.
yeah, you have 2 little dogs, correct?
Yeah, two
Bostons.
Bostons.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, what are their names?
Mickey and Bailey.
On a good day, that's what their names are.
Yeah, they make it a little bit difficult. We have a video on full-time RVing with dogs, and they're not the best RVers just because they don't get along with other dogs. And
they weren't born into this lifestyle, so they were out in the middle of nowhere where they didn't have to make friends. So they don't know how to make friends with their dogs.
So we got to peek out the window and make sure nobody else is walking the dog, and we make a quick dash to go out there. It's kind of like that.
That's actually really funny.
We were gonna ask you where's Jag?
Jag is outside. He loves being outside and everything. And last time when he was in here, he ended up chewing like on his bone. So I just keep him outside for now on.
Okay.
It was kind of funny. I'm like, hey,
if he's happier out there.
Yeah.
He is. But it's okay. It's all good. So I'm going to wrap some things up real quick. Say thank you again to everybody that joined us today. Make sure that you check out Why Wait. Like I said before, in the description is a link to their YouTube channel, and make sure that you check them out on Instagram and all the other social medias. TikTok, apparently. I don't do TikTok.
I don't.
Trying it out.
They'll try anything once.
Like when you were lifting earlier, yeah, it's type of thing.
Yep, funny stuff like that.
Yeah.
And for everybody else that missed the beginning of this chat, or live stream, I would like to let you know about that virtual baby shower that we're going to have July 5th. It's going to probably be around 7 p.m. Virtually on YouTube. And if you would like to purchase something for the baby, link is down in the description. If not, just run our playlist. That'll be fantastic. That will help us. We are about 200 hours away from getting monetized. So if you guys can run that for us to help us get monetized, that would be fantastic. Thank you for everybody else that come. Next week, I have another special guest. They're called 314 Square Feet. They live in an RV. They have 4 children, and their 4th child is now just 5 months old. So if you're interested in learning what it's like to be traveling with a baby, that will be next week. So until next time, make sure that you keep following us and proceed onward in your adventures. And until next time, bye-bye.
Bye, thank you.
Thank you.